Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The Dynamic Duo's back. Travis, Liam, we just saw Batman v Superman Ultimate Cut. Yep, edition, whatever it is. Radar, extra half an hour.
Yeah.
This is your second time seeing the movie. Overall, what do you think of the movie the second time? And then, what do you think of the movie with the cuts or the new scenes added?
So, second time I've seen it, still not great.
No.
It's and it's funny because we really looked this time to see, hey, did we miss things? Did they actually show us these things? Because like the movie asks a lot of questions and then answers none of them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that just make no sense. Like there's things that these characters, as we understand them, they do things that they would not do.
No.
And after seeing the added scenes, it doesn't help it.
No, like I guess for me, like my big overall, we'll run down like a few of the new scenes, but my big overall is, I think I said to you while we were watching, that there's moments that help the movie, but there's not, like, the actual scenes don't add to it. And I'd actually say that other than like I said, we'll get to him, but there's like a reveal that the Africa girl, she's not from Africa.
Yeah.
The actress, everything like that. There's a reveal that the wheelchair's lead, so Superman can't see it. So there's like little moments. They go, oh, okay, that makes sense. Or like Jimmy Olsen introducing himself. 30 seconds you could have really kept in the movie, and Steppenwolf. But the actual scenes that they're in are just kind of talking, whatnot, and like even the scenes, like I said, we'll do a quick rundown in a second, but like the scenes when Clark went to Gotham, they were a good idea, but they weren't really executed that well. Like, it was a cool idea that they tinkered with, but once again, when you have the looming threat of, once again, if this was Batman v Superman, you could have played with that, but because they had the looming threat of all this going on and whatnot. But like, I guess just to start out, like, obviously, spoilers, so if you haven't seen the original cut or this cut, I wouldn't listen. But if you are wondering if you should watch the Ultimate Cut, if you really like this movie already, I'd say there's some cool stuff in there.
I think you'd enjoy it more. If you didn't, it's
if
not
you're like
bad
us
anything.
in the middle, there's nothing like, to me, honestly, I think the theatrical cut's better. Other than the few things that are answered, like I said, there are little things like, that makes sense.
You know what I think the biggest thing is, that the biggest issues that everybody has with the movie, like Martha, like the whole Africa scene still seems pointless in the long run.
And they tried a little bit, it felt like, because they actually showed the bodies get burnt and whatnot, so you're like, okay, but then you point out
we've seen twice in this movie alone, we know what Superman's heat ray vision does, and those are clearly burnt corpses that were lit on fire. So every big issue that people have with the movie is not helped by the director's cut, but a lot of the other things that people like
minor issues are, though, I'd say. Like the thing, like, why didn't Superman see that wheelchair? Minor thing that they easily could have added. They easily could have found some way. Do you have anything quickly before we just run down the few of the scenes they added in? And
let's just run down.
So just one scene we noticed right away is that they had kids when Bruce Wayne saved everybody. Just accept that there was kids there. Once again, I don't think that was needed. It was but like, she could have just been a kid downtown.
You know what? I'm on the opposite end. I enjoyed that. You know, obviously maybe in Wayne Manor, if he cares about his employees, he probably has daycare on premises.
Jock.
So that makes sense that, hey, the teacher's trying to lead him out, and this kid gets left behind, and all the smoke and all the thing. Like, I take care of kids for a living. Kids do stupid things all the time. Kid probably got scared and just stopped moving. So I didn't mind that one. I kind of liked it. It kind of added that.
That's fair. I didn't hate it, but it was just like, I thought it was leaning more something, but then it was just like, no, because I was like, I think that was our first like scene that I remember that was like, oh, this is new, and then it was like, oh, what are these kids gonna play? And then it's like, no, just walks away. I'm like, are all these kids the people Bruce Wayne's adopting? You know.
To me, it really seemed like it flowed well with the movie and what they were establishing, which was nice. And it's kind of like, hey, there's kids here. It's not just businessmen that you don't care about, such as Jack. There's kids there. You don't want to see kids die.
No, of course not. After that was, if you weren't sure, we're listing all the scenes that we caught that were put in. There's a few other scenes that were put in that I don't have on my list, but they're just literally just like shots of just like, there's one point where the cops are watching a football game, which kind of sets up something later, but it's really just kind of pointless.
But Clark doesn't really
go see the football game.
In fact, it makes it even more annoying that they have Clark doing football, but he's like, where's the football story? 4 days after the game ended. So if you haven't seen the movie, what happens is these cops are watching in the car. It's a Metropolis Gotham City game, and obviously they're making it's a big game, and then later on when Perry's talking to Clark, he's like, oh, why don't you go cover the sports story, blah blah blah. First of all, I said, Liam,
I wish they'd have like an actual sports like guy.
Yeah.
That's just like Clark. But okay, so let's say maybe that guy's sick, so you go cover Clark. But it's like, this is such a big game. Why wasn't they, like you said, their night of, like right morning after, like it was a big win. But it's like a couple days later, like, oh, go do the sports story. It's like, nowadays and age, you can just watch it on the internet. Yeah, like no one can. It's college. And I know college is big, but I'm just saying, like, it's not like if they're like, hey, this was the Super Bowl and you had to be down there. But it's not like, it just seemed like a regular season kind of game.
Yeah,
and they were spending a lot of time on this, but it was kind of like a little annoying.
Well,
like,
and even then, like, this is going to be a little sneak to when we recorded this. Iceland just beat England in the World Cup, or the Euro Cup, sorry. And that's all over the news. If 4 days I was on, like the CBC or whatever, and I saw Iceland beat England, I'd be like, yeah, I fucking know. Like,
yeah, and like it's kind of like we're doing this right now. This is coming the day that the DVD comes out and people saw it in theaters. But let's say if like you were saying, you wanted to talk about this, right? And you wanted to do a podcast. You'd want to do maybe even the night of or something like that. But 5 days later, it's kind of like everyone's kind of over it right now. Like,
right?
It's not even that big of a thing. Like, and that's why I actually. At first, I thought they were going to make some sort of Vic Stone, like, cyborg reference, and that might be like, oh, maybe that's why, because in some of the comics, like, sometimes he's playing football, and then the stadium collapses, and that's why cyborg, and that would make sense, like, oh, there's a major catastrophe, you got to go down and keep digging in this, but it's like, it's just a game.
Yeah.
So, it's really...
And it's not even a good game, and you could tell that it was filmed on a pretty cheap budget.
Yeah. The Jimmy Olsen scene, he introduced himself, another scene... That's it. I think the scenes that are good with this cut are scenes that should have been in the movie that are literally 30 seconds. He literally says, "Hi, I'm Jimmy Olsen. This is why we're here," and that's it. And then, like before you mentioned,
also it showed that when they landed, that they didn't just appear at the compound.
Yeah, which that's what it was in the movie. And then the thing I'll point out, which I think it's in the original cut, but I didn't notice it the past 2 times I saw it. Jimmy Olsen has a tracker in his camera. He's completely in the clear, but at one point he stands up and pretends to take pictures, and they're like, hey, your camera, and they check it, and there's the tracker. He was in the clear. He didn't have to move.
He also had like 3 other cameras on him, too.
He's the
Why
worst,
did he have to use that camera?
Worst FBI, CSI, whatever he is. And then, same thing, like, after, I remember when the movie came out, it's actually like, yeah, that's Jimmy Olsen. Like, why wasn't it in the movie? Just keep that, and then if not, just have him just some random guy. So, did you have anything else to say on Jimmy Olsen?
Yeah, it was like it's literally maybe 30 seconds.
Oh yeah,
it was so pointless. But the
movie was already 2.5 hours. You could make it 2 hours and 31 minutes.
Yeah, you know what? I would have accepted that.
Yeah, I would have accepted 3 if it was 2 hours and 33 minutes to get me like the lead wheelchair, that like other things that have come out. Like just like I said, I feel like and that's why I'd say if you're on the fence like we were, like we kind of like the movie, I'd say you don't need to watch this cut because I feel like all the important stuff in here is stuff that came in 30 seconds sprout. So you maybe could have released like a Batman v Superman 5 more minute cut, and that would have been better. But it's like this additional scenes to me are not needed. Like they're just not really at all. What came after that? So yeah, like you said, there's the whole thing where Clint goes to Gotham. They talked about that, and then he's looking for he goes to the apartment looking for the girl from Africa, right?
Yes.
And once again, he didn't ask him to go there to look into that. So Clark's just like, obviously, because he's Superman, he's wondering. And then you get this guy who they showed in the trailer of him saying, like, oh, there's a new type of bad in him and whatnot. And I was really hoping they'd get more in depth. And even when they had a scene with Alfred, I thought, oh, maybe more in depth why Batman's more brutal. And it's still just kind of the same. He's just kind of like...
Yeah, he had a cool... for some reason, he scratched the Bat logo on his scratching wing, which means the scratching wing is now, like, useless. So, like,
yeah, but if
and he's already in the project, so it's like...
Well, and, like, he has his one... Yeah, so that was, like, cute. She's like, oh, yeah, he's more bad. And it's like, okay. And that's what I mean. Scene didn't need at all. Like, that's the scene where, like, didn't need a movie, didn't need this. Like, that's a special features, like, watch it. Like, that's, I mean, I feel like the scenes that went on longer than a minute to 2 minutes were not needed at all.
No.
What else do we have here? I had put them down. Oh, there's another mother scene, which was really funny because, like, right before, Liam was like, man, I'm not a big fan of the scenes with his mother. And then there's a scene, remember, it's when he calls his mom, like, in the middle of the night. And he's like,
he goes, do you miss Dad?
Yeah, no, he's like, why didn't Dad leave Kansas?
Why didn't Dad leave Kansas?
And it's like, your dad's just a fucking farmer. Like, why does it matter if he didn't want to leave Kansas or not? Like,
he was an honorable man, but he was nobody.
Oh, I know. Why didn't he leave Kansas? And she gives this kind of, like, story, and it's like ho-hum. It's like, like, doesn't really matter at all. The Bat brand, this is one thing I did like, even though they didn't get full in detail. So the Bat brand, we talked about this many times in other podcasts about why would people kill them, and I like that they showed that Luthor paid off people. Once again, could have added that. That's 30 seconds. They literally show,
and it shows that Luthor is thinking about things.
Yeah, and not just kind of like, oh, I'm all over and ding, 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 ding. Like, I like that. It's a simple, he gets to the prison, the Russian guy talks to the guard kills him, and that's it. It
was the guard, it was a prisoner.
Or sorry, it was a prisoner, yeah, he pays him off, or like, seems to, and that's it. It was so quick, and that could have happened. That could have been in the original movie, you know? And these are little things that, after I left the theater, I was like, why did this happen? Why did this happen? This would have took out, like, 5 things. It wouldn't have fixed the movie, but it would have took out at least 5 things where I was questioning, like, why did that happen?
Yeah.
You know, or felt lost. What happened after that? Jen Malone, not Batgirl. After all these rumors, after all the speculation, she's just like some chick working at Star Labs.
It was pointless.
Oh, it was.
It was like,
because it's back to the lowest thing, which there's a lot more. That's the thing we said in our review and the GeekVerse review. We kind of all, I think the majority of us felt that the lowest scenes are kind of pointless. Because even some people have said to me after, like, oh, well, it sets up like her proving that Luthor's guilty and goes to prison. If after the whole Doomsday thing, he's not going to prison. Yeah. Like, he's not gonna go for a fucking bullet. Like, I'd be like, yeah, thanks, Lois, for finding out that he's like sold these bullets, but you know, he unleashed a fucking
now we can give
weapon.
him like 90 life sentences opposed to the 85 we were gonna give him.
Yeah, like, it's like, it still is nothing, and it's like good for Jen Malone, she's getting work, but like, it is pointless, and that's stuff that, like, there's more Lois stuff added to throughout the thing, and it's more just about this bullet, and it's like, it's stuff that we're already getting to. It's stuff that, I'm not gonna spoil another movie, but it's like, it's stuff when we know Luthor's already bad and he's behind stuff. It doesn't pay off for us to be like her investigating this whole time. Especially, it'd be different if the Doomsday thing didn't happen, because it's like, okay, they use that to put him in prison, but it's like, he clearly does he kidnaps Superman's mom. He does this. He does like 5 other things that are worth going to prison. Yeah. So it's not like this bullet is like the smoking gun. At the end of the day, it's kind of like,
it's the bullet and the pile of bullets that we have.
Oh yeah.
And it's already established earlier that Lex Luthor gave that guy the wheelchair with the bomb in it.
Yeah. And we know he's bad. And like, that's the thing later on. Well, actually, we'll say that because it comes to that. Next was, which to me, I guess, was the big thing that stuck out, because my biggest problem, not my biggest, but one of my biggest problems when I walked out of the theater was the pointless of the Africa scene and the pointless of the African woman and her whole plot line.
Yeah.
And her family's dead, blah, blah, blah. And it turns out she's a fucking paid by Luthor actress. Her parents are alive. Luthor gave her a script to say, and at the end of the day, it still doesn't make sense, because you'd still feel like maybe the UN Senate or whatnot would check on this girl's background. But at the end of the day, I like that he goes, once again, it shows that he's working behind the scenes, and it makes him a bit more credible. And actually, out of all the stuff, that was the biggest thing, because I like that.
I actually did enjoy that, and it was like, oh, that's why they're blaming Superman.
Yeah.
Even though everybody in the CIA, who I guess probably can't admit that they're even there, could be like, no. Well, also, then there's goddamn Lois Lane. Why did nobody fucking ask Lois Lane what happened?
Oh, I know. It's like, you saved me. And it's like, and that's the thing with her, it's like, okay, she's kind of like this first, like, she's a bystander, right? The Africa girl. And she saw it all. So you'd be like, okay, if her family's dead, she has no reason to lie. So it's like, we should look into this, because this girl's saying Superman just murdered her family. Even though all evidence points nowhere. But then you take that out in the movie when we saw, there was no evidence, because in this, at least, they burned the bodies. In the original cut, it was just like they shot a bunch of people, and it was like, why do you think Superman did this? And I like this. That was one of my favorite things of this cut, was seeing that progress, and like Luthor paying her off, and she doesn't even have an accent. Like, it was good. It was like a full on, like, okay, this makes a bit more sense. And then they do like House of Cards, push her in front of the train, which is a little cheesy. You know, like, you would think like,
no. Here's my issue with it. It was on that very busy platform.
Very busy.
She was standing in the very middle. He walks up, pushes her. Not a single fucking person reacts. She's literally screaming, ah, as the train's going over. And everybody's like, fuck, sometimes it sucks. Sometimes we have bad days.
And that's the thing where it's like, for every good thing this Ultimate Cut does, it does like 2 other like lousy or lazy bad things. You're like, oh.
It's like, here, we're going to heal a wound, but we're still going to kick you in the balls.
Yeah, like, and that's like, we'll get to our overalls then, but like, no way does this heal the movie. It does like little patches, but like, it's kind of like when you have multiple holes in like a air mattress when you're on the water. It's only going to hold for so long, and then something else is going to break. So
just because you patch one doesn't mean the other holes aren't still put.
Yeah, so
pushing out air.
And then so leading in the Africa scene, they tell Holly Hunt's character, I can't remember the senator's name, but they tell her, they find out, which I don't know how they find out, but they find out that that Luthor paid her, everything like this. So once again, in the theatrical cut, you just think she's just some senator going to a meeting, but in this cut, she has a whole different motive of she now knows that Luthor is really pulling the strings and doing stuff to create shit and stir shit, and she knows this girl from Africa is complete fabrication. But in the movie, none of that. She's just sitting there, like, Luthor was always going to kill her and do her thing, but she's just like, it gave her character just even a little bit more of like motivate, like you were more invested in her, like, okay, she knows what's going on. But in the movie, in the original cut, it's like, no, okay. But then in this one, once again, when we said like the bandage and then two more, so the bomb goes off just like the original cut.
Well, actually, I just have one thing to say.
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
In this, and I didn't notice this the first time, but we read it this time. The jar of piss.
Oh yeah,
it's in a mason jar.
Granny's peach tea.
Granny's peach, which is like, okay, like I get the symbolism there.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck did he manage to get a jar of piss
without a lid? We looked too.
Without a lid, which means it would smell. Like that's the first thing you walk in a room and you breathe in, you take a deep breath before a speech. You go, why is there piss? Do you guys smell piss? This is the courthouse. And then you would have seen it and you'd be like, guys, we gotta cancel this. Something's wrong. We gotta check everything again. Like. And like it's so goddamn stupid. And even not just that, she's the last one to sit down. Every other senator would sit down and be like, "Do you guys smell piss? Is that a jar of piss there?" Like, and that means he had to pay off all the security guards, all their security detail to get piss in the goddamn like courtroom, whatever it is.
And the thing I like with it out having a lid is either one, someone had to walk and be really careful putting it down, or someone brought like another jar of piss to dump into the mason jar of piss. Like you said, the symbolism is great, but it's like when we really, and I never really thought about too, like how did they get it in there? And like, yeah, for him to go through that trouble, it's like, yeah, he's really sending her a message, but it's like, how did he go through all that?
To get a jar of piss there.
Yeah, I know. Like, no, I like your point. Like, don't you smell piss? Like, so, and
well,
so,
and for that matter, in that scene, he kills Mercy as well. Like, his kind of what appears to be his number two.
Yeah.
For no reason.
I'm number
and like
2.
She even looks around. She's like, "Hey, how come Lex Luthor's not here?" Like, even though she's the one that probably brought the piss there. So she probably brought the piss and was like, "That's weird. I thought he would have really enjoyed when she looked at the piss jar."
Yeah, we did like. Honestly, it's because in the plot, it's just Lou's bad guy, but we did have for some reason, a long conversation. Like, man, he shouldn't kill Mercy. Like, she's doing all the good things, and like we said, she didn't need to die in that scene. Like, everything.
And it's right away. We knew it wasn't Superman. Yeah. We knew it's Lex Luthor. So why the fuck would he kill his number 2?
Well, and this is what the new cut brings, and we'll get into now. So in the original cut, the bomb blows off, Superman flies away. In this one, the bomb blows off, Superman stays saving people. Yeah. So later on they cut to like the news being like, oh yeah, that's a guy in the wheelchair, which once again, this cut kills the tension of like they should have stuck with, they frame Superman, the whole world thinks Superman killed that Senate people.
Yeah.
Then you have that thing of like, oh man, people aren't trusting Superman. But no, right away they're like, no, it's a guy in the wheelchair. And then in this cut, I don't think it was in the original, they say that maybe Superman was like,
an accomplice.
Yeah, accomplice.
Yeah. As if Superman needs to bring in a fucking wheelchair bomb to destroy the U.S. Senate. Like it was like that has to be like probably like, oh yeah, this will, like I get to see him in the writers' room. Oh, what if he was an accomplice? That's fucking dumb. Like, you seen this guy.
I'm sorry if you like this movie. I give it a 6 out of 10, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like that's the thing. Like, I feel like some of the stuff that was on this cut is really bad. And that's one of those things like, yeah, Superman he doesn't need an accomplice. He's the most powerful man.
And then some people are like, oh yeah, but that's what they thought. Yeah, but if they were just like taking a step back and be like, he literally has already saved our planet. Okay, yeah, maybe he's evil.
Saving people.
Yeah, he's sitting there saving people. Why the fuck would he bring in a bomb to make himself look better when he's then shown flying all over the world saving people?
And like, if he was gonna blow this place up, don't you think he wouldn't be there? So when it blew up, he'd be like, "Oh, that's suspicious." But like, why would he?
Yeah, why would he be there? Oh, because he knew he'd survive. That would not rid him of the guilt. Like what? Like.
And then then, like, why, if he's all evil, wouldn't he blow up the place and be like, okay, I'm taking all the world? No, he's saving people. So it's like, once again, you know, it kind of works in our world, because actually, truthfully, the media would probably spin something like that. Like the Fox News.
I'm sure they try to do something stupid, but like...
but like the movie, it shouldn't, and it's just like, oh, he might be an accomplice, but no, he's stuck around for an hour saving people, and then he disappears for a while. So it's like, who has this idea that he's an accomplice?
Is the next scene on the mountain?
That was it was right. That was, they added a scene. I didn't even put in my notes because that was a scene that was so pointless. It was like, why? But you talk about it.
So one of my biggest complaints of that movie,
this has become one of my favorite podcasts,
is when Superman's at the top of that mountain in the middle of fucking nowhere. He's walked there.
Yeah, this is the same. If you haven't watched the Ultimate Cut yet, this is the same scene where he talks to his dad, but this is before.
Yeah, and I hate that scene because it makes no sense.
Yeah,
his dad tells a story that's pointless. Like, for some reason, he's in the middle of,
I miss you too, Dad.
Yeah, like, I miss you too. Like, fuck yeah, we get it. You like your dad. That's already been established.
Well, it did when we got that phone call.
Yeah, that's true. It makes no sense. So then they add a scene, and there's like, he appears to be, if I'm not mistaken, he's in South America. I thought those guys are speaking Spanish.
I think so.
He's probably like in Chile. He's probably in Patagonia, and he's just there walking up a mountain. And all these like trappers are like, "Hey, there's a big storm up there. Like, you got to be careful."
And he says nothing.
Yeah, he says, just keeps walking. The other guy goes, "He's going up there to die." Like, what the fuck? You just let a dude walk past you into a blizzard on the top of a mountain, and you're just gonna be like, you know, people gonna do what people gonna do.
And also the issue you took with the scene is like, why isn't Superman flying up there? You know, because he's not gonna die. He's not gonna die from cold water.
And it's clearly not in America.
No.
So that means he had to fly there to get there.
Yeah.
So why is he not wearing a suit? Did he just fly there in his jeans? Like,
he flew and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna walk the rest of the way now. Like,
it was just, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
And like, and especially because it wasn't in America. If he went to the Fortress of Solitude, that'd be dope. Nope.
No, he's just. Yeah, it's really...
Like, it was a scene that was like, why did you even film this?
And that was a scene, too, and, like, once again, I'll save it for my overalls as well, but this, it's funny, I've seen it twice. The first night, you got adrenaline, so not long at all. The second time I saw it, it felt a little longer, but not too much. Obviously, this is because a full half an hour is add-on, but this felt long, this movie.
It did.
And it's not like Watchmen, like we've talked about, it was off-cast, but we talked about the 3-hour cut to me does not feel that long, because as a comic fan, there's cool stuff that you like to see in there, but, like, there's a lot of stuff in here, like that scene, even those guys saying that, like, oh, he's going up to die, even this 30-second scene, pointless, does not need to be, and there's a lot of pointless for every... Like I said, the Africa scene, the scene that is after this that I'll bring up is a really good scene. Like, there's, like I said, 5-6 scenes maybe that are really good as far as explaining something. But then for every one scene, there's like 3 scenes that are pointless and just taking up screen time for the fact of being there. Like, there's a lot of, like, back and forth added between Perry and Superman. I didn't add my notes all about this Batman thing and not writing sports. And it's like, we fucking get it. He's a dodgy reporter who's not going to report your fucking sports thing.
Yeah,
like,
for
you're
some
hitting
reason,
us
it's
over
still
the head.
one of your most trusted reporters, and you're giving him the most basic stories. He goes, "Hey, I like to do real journalism," and he's like, "God damn it, what did I tell you?"
Oh, I know, and he's like, he's like, and once again, back to this, I hate to bring back the sports thing, but he's like, this isn't what I wanted. It's like, why is a sports story so fucking important to you? Like, report it yourself then. Like,
and you wonder why newsprint is dying.
Oh, I know. So then the scene after that, or relatively after that, was it's more Amy Adams scenes when she has a scene with Jim Malone, and they reveal that Superman couldn't see the bomb in the wheelchair because Superman may have lead, so he couldn't see it. And one, I would love always them to explain how Luthor knew this, because he still knows how Batman is Bruce Wayne, and they all know. And even Superman,
he also knows who Aquaman is, Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah,
Flash,
and even Superman, I understand.
Cyborg.
Like, they do a great thing in the animated series. Superman, he finds out who Batman is because he uses X-ray vision to see through his mask. But in the movie, they don't spend like 20 seconds to do that. He's just like, "Hey, Bruce, let's talk." But like,
yeah, we've already established that you're a shitty reporter.
Oh, I know.
How did you find this out?
So exactly, but then I liked. Well, back to the main point. I liked that they established why, because that was a thing we left. Like, why wouldn't Superman know there was a bomb in that room? And I like that in that scene. They say, "Oh yeah, it's lead. He couldn't see it." And I really like. And once again, I don't know how Lois knows that. I guess Superman just found out over time he can't see lead, so he can't sense pencils. I guess all the time too. But like, you just have to. That's what Batman using Batman v Superman 2, just pencils at him. But see, I liked that. But then it was just like. Later on, other stuff is just
I mean, if you have X-ray vision, it's like get an X-ray, and then you put, like, the lead would actually stop the X-rays.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like, okay, I mean, that's like a logical conclusion.
Yeah, and I like that.
Yeah,
and once again, it's
good.
But then I guess they couldn't add it in there because it was all tied to that Jenna Malone scene, right?
But
and
I feel like you could have just put that in, like, hey,
you could have found a different way.
Lead.
Yeah. And, like, there's a scene where Amy Adams is watching the news, and they could have been like, oh, the bomb had traces of lead in it, blah, blah, and she, as a smart woman reporter, should have been like, oh, lead, he can't see lead. But no, we have this whole, like, thing with Jenna Malone.
For that matter, every story that they're trying to report, they see on the news first.
Oh, right, I know. They're not that good.
No.
And then after that, there's a long extended time. The fight was pretty much the same. They had a few stuff. They had the
it was weird. They added a couple like punches.
Yeah, and a couple throws, but that's about it. Nothing that big. The Steppenwolf scene that we've all seen online was in there. A scene that I still think should have been in the original movie, just because the amount of audience that is there to set up. Hey, this is our big villain. It's the same way as fucking like Loki showed up at the end of fucking Thor to be like, hey, I'm gonna be back for Avengers, you know, like, and like we talk about this cast. There is many people like us that saw the scene, but there's people like my mother hasn't seen this movie. But my mother, she sees this, she would probably stay after the end credits because she knows like I've trained her enough to know well. But like if there's nothing there, she's not gonna be like, man, there's a Batman v Superman deleted scene online. I gotta watch this. Like, and then the next movie they'll be like, who the fuck is Steppenwolf? Let's see. I think that was about it. I added the fucking they added one fuck in there. The guy said, "What the fuck?" or "Who the fuck are you?" Which was not needed at all.
We saw Bruce Wayne's ass.
Yeah,
for some reason they just showed a shot of him in the shower, and I was like, okay.
There's a nice news reporting station, I guess, called In the Moment. I got a gig over that.
You really like that.
That's gonna be, if I ever have just a sole podcast with just myself, it's called In the Moment. And then the very last thing was they added that Luthor's going to Arkham, which another thing. Literally 10 seconds you could add in that movie. Because I have a fucking feeling that, gee, I wonder who's going to pop up in Suicide Squad now. But once again, for the people that only seen the mainstream cut, it's not set up in that. So if he's popping up there, it's like, gee, I guess he's just in jail with the rest of them.
Yeah.
Like, in this, it would be like, hey, I'm sending you to Arkham. And then literally they have two different lines, and then it's back to the original conversation. And that's what the problem is. Like, I'll get back to that in a second. But anyway, so yeah, he says he's sending him to Arkham, which is not great, I think, but like, do you have anything to add on the Arkham bit?
Well, I just started laughing when he first said it. Not because like I like what they added, but like, Batman, every time you send these goddamn supervillains into the same place, it backfires.
Well, he did say that he had friends there, so do you think he was insinuating Gordon, or do you think he was insinuating like villains are gonna fuck him up?
No, I think it was like Gordon and
well, they don't work.
I was gonna say Crane, but it's not Crane.
In this universe, he's a detective.
Like, now you have clearly like Luthor's smart. He's a very intelligent guy.
We
Well,
I hope.
That's okay.
He is. He snuck a piss jar into a Senate meeting.
He is a very sneaky fella as well. So why would you send him with the Joker? So,
that's
by the
true.
way, this is old Batman too. So that means he's. We can assume has established Bane's probably in there.
Oh yeah, Ivy's he should have the majority of his rogue gallery.
Yeah, it's like all in there, and it's like, hey guys, here's the Superman to join out the goddamn rogue gallery.
Here's the guy who has a billionaire account or $1 billion account. Like, this should be fun. Like, yeah, and that's what I mean. But even then, and I do like it because like. That's a comic trope, and I do like just like, okay, send Arkham, that's fun.
Yeah, like I liked it, but I just started laughing. I was like, Batman, you're an idiot. This never works for you.
Yeah, but that's where I like, and then we'll go into overalls now, and that's where I feel like some of the stuff that they do doesn't really work, but the stuff that like joking aside about the Arkham stuff, the Arkham thing is an important thing to put in there because I feel like he's gonna have a cameo in Squad now, even if it's just a scene with him, even if it's an after credits thing. But it's like that, the lead wheelchair, the Africa scene. I know there's a couple other we've listed, but there's scenes I feel like are the most important to this movie are literally 30 to 45, maybe a minute, and you could have added those. And then the rest of the scenes are just a bunch of other scenes in which the movie had a problem with before. And that's why for me, it's like I'm gonna rank this because of the podcast, but for me, I rank the theatrical cut as a 6. Despite it answering stuff, I rank this as almost like a 5 because it's like, other than the 5 to 6 things that are important, there's just more scenes of just unnecessary, like,
you know what?
Spinning its wheels, and it's
bored.
Like, yeah, and I was too, and that's the thing with 2.5 hours, it's half an hour shorter, but with this, it's like half an hour more scenes, and I get respect for, like, I wish, I like seeing that stuff that did make sense, but I just wish that was in the film, because honestly, like we said at the beginning, it would not have packed the whole plot and the story and everything like that, but those 5 things, the wheelchair, the Africa scene, they would have put my score up even by a 0.5 because I wouldn't have walked out asking so many things of like, why the fuck is this happening? Why the fuck? Like, even stuff like Holly Hunt's character knowing that Luthor's in on it. That's little stuff that you could have... Like I said, this was a 2 hour and 31 minute in the like theatrical. 2 hour and 36 minutes not going to make that much of a difference. And I feel like lots of those scenes were vital. So it was fun to watch just to see that stuff. I'll never watch this cut again, to be honest, because now I know this. I'll still watch the theatrical because... It's just a bunch of mess.
I'll fully admit that I'll never watch this movie again.
Even the theatrical?
No, I have no reason to. I don't like it.
And that's fair because I'm the same with Man of Steel. I tried again right before BVS. I watched it again and I was like, you know what? I can never watch this again. And I'm kind of like that way.
You know what? I don't really like Man of Steel, but I think it gets shit on a little more than it should. There's a lot of things that I actually like in that movie. There's a lot of things I don't too.
I disagree.
But like,
I think
when I saw it, because I didn't see it in theaters.
Yeah,
because so many people ragged on it, and I saw it on, I think it was like when it came on to like DVD,
Netflix or something.
It was like video on demand for Telus or whatever. And I saw it and I was like, you know what? Like that was better than I thought it was gonna be. It wasn't great, but I was like,
but you did have the benefit of everyone saying, "Hey, this was crap."
Yeah, you know what? I thought it was going to be a train wreck. I really did. Like I was like, this
and I thought it was going to be great because Zack Snyder, despite Sucker Punch, was still coming off 300 and Watchmen. Nolan was still said to be involved, so I'm like, oh, this could, and it looked good. The previews, some of the trailers looked really good, but then it was mess. So, but yeah, for you, like, what do you feel about this cut overall?
You know what? Then, I'd give it a 5. Maybe a 4.5.
Yeah,
like it didn't add anything, and to be honest, like we said, the stuff that they added that was good was great.
Yeah.
And the stuff that wasn't, it was just kind of like, oh, I'm bored.
For every great thing, you got 3 pointless, didn't need it all.
Yeah, and you know what? I think the way that you got to do these extended cuts, I think The Lord of the Rings does it perfectly. Mm-hmm. When you watch, The Fellowship, Two Towers, Return of the King, it feels like a complete movie. Yeah. When you see the extended cuts...
It feels even more complete.
You're like, oh my god, I can't believe you had to cut these scenes. Like, this must have been a real labor to cut it. When we see these, you're like Batman, Ben Affleck's in the shower, you're like, yeah, why did you even film that?
Yeah.
Like, it was pointless.
Well, and the scene before the mountain, and more scenes.
Yeah, there's things that's like, why was this even in the script?
Yeah, and the scene with when he gives him a bit more motivation, but then when he has that conversation with that criminal's wife, who got killed, and it's just. I wish they just add those 5-6 scenes, and this could have been like the first one could have been, I think, not so much better, but better. Like those, and that's what it really frustrates me again. Of like, they don't know what they're doing. I hope with Justice League it does change around. There's lots of new people in there, but it just feels like there is so many missed opportunities. And like I said, if that Jenna Malone thing was super important, it's like, oh man, that's 15 minutes, 5 minutes. I understand why that got cut, but the important stuff, they didn't need to cut it.
They really did not.
And it's kind of frustrating, and it makes you wonder who is cutting these things, and it also makes me wonder of that rumored 4-hour cut of man, if this is stuff that they chose for this, it's like, what else is there? But it's like, I'm happy to have seen it. I'll never watch the theatrical cut again. The extended cut, the movie, I still like because I like the Batman stuff despite the killing. That's pretty much it.
Well, it's funny. We watched this again,
and the acting's not bad. I always say Eisenberg.
I can't say
his fault. He's doing a good job acting. It's just the character is.
And you know what? I think we talked about at the beginning. I find him annoying in a couple scenes, but you know what? He took a chance on his acting, and it didn't pay off.
No,
it wasn't like when you see Blake Lively try to act. And you're like, this is, and that's only my mind because The Shallows is coming out. And it's you look at it, you're like, nah, you're just bad. This is aggressively bad.
Yeah.
Whereas Eisenberg is a competent actor, and we've seen it. And sometimes you take a role and you do your best, and you're just not right for it. Or maybe you just didn't make the right choices.
Or they just wrote it and say, hey, do it this way. And it's like, okay, I trust these people.
Yeah, that's very true.
So, yeah, that was fun. We've said this before, I was happy this to be the definitive one, because now there's officially no more the crack open. There's no more, I wonder what's this or is that. We've seen everything.
Yeah, we know Zack Snyder made a bad movie.
Yeah, pretty much. He did, and there's, like I said, a bad movie with some good scenes in it.
Yeah, and and I think that's why I'm so disappointed. Is that there's certain things in this movie, and I know we said this on our first review, that are very good.
Yeah,
and there's things that you're like, yes, and then there's other things that you're like, well, that's just
there could be a great movie here, and it's just.
To be honest, you know what I wish they'd do. I wish they would like take these scripts and they'd give it to a literary professor, like specifically people that do like critical analysis, and just so they can start like, hey, this is dumb, this is dumb, this is dumb, this is dumb. Yeah, I understand not every movie has to be, you know, a masterpiece, but I just like when you have a complicated script like this, to be like, just take it to somebody who's a professional, not who's associated with the company. You know what? Take it to somebody that hates superheroes. Yeah. And so they could be like, hey, this is dumb. This makes no sense. Why is his motivation like this? So because it's frustrating. But I think you said it as well. The cinematography in this movie is quite good.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about.
He does a very good job of that.
He's a great visual director. I can never take that away. As far as if you're talking visual directors, he's probably, I'd say, in the top 10 right now in Hollywood. Legitimately, because his shots, like, there's so many shots of, like, oh, there's the one new shot they showed with Batman in the camera, and he, like, picked a guy up. And it just looks so good, and just the shots of Batman standing around look so good, so... Yeah, that was it. Obviously, we'll always talk about BVS, but never to the extent again, because it's like, I just like, I'm ready to move on, you know? Like, I'm ready, like, it's always going to think, because I honestly feel like this is like, until Justice League, I don't know, I feel in 10 years this will probably go down as the most controversial comic book movie of all time. I've never seen a movie so divided as far as people loving it, hating it, in the middle. You talk to everybody and they all have their different views, they all like different things, and it's like, I can't remember a comic book film that was like this in a while. Yeah. Usually it's good, it's bad, it's in the middle, never like, and I mean like all those opinions decided on as a consensus.
It's very polarizing.
Yeah, and I can kind of see why, because I still feel like I could understand why someone watch this and still love it, you know? Because it's like, same thing, if you like Eisenberg's performance, and I would imagine you'd love this movie, because he's all over this, and like...
Yeah, and you know what? Like, yeah, because, like I said, for myself, the acting didn't work. But if it worked for you, that's fine. Like, sometimes it's subjective. Like, sometimes, like, I'll watch a movie, and, like, I just can't believe certain people in roles. Like, I just see...
And he's... I believe him in the role, but the role just doesn't fit in this movie. You know, it's just and that's this. We've done it again. We will. There's nothing more to say. We've literally now said all of BVS. We're never gonna talk about it again in this sort of like reviewing sense. We reviewed it to death.
We'll probably talk about it on like
in passing.
The biggest mishaps of Hollywood.
Yeah, and like joking, but never like this again. It was. I'm happy to have seen this.
The one thing that does kind of make me happy is that Martha is now in the lexicon.
Oh.
I was coaching. A U14 team on the weekend, and a bunch of the kids, they're all wrestling, they're all boys, whatever. They're doing stupid shit because they're boys. And one of the kids wrestling, and one kid's winning, and one kid just yells Martha, and everybody just starts dying laughing. And like so like it's definitely part of pop culture. It's part of the zeitgeist. Like it's kind of cool that it has that, and that we can take funny things out of it. And that we're getting, hopefully, a good Batman film. And a good Justice League film. Truthfully, I don't have that much hope. I have a bit more intrigue because there are new hands in the pot, but we've talked about this many times. I feel like they can screw it with Squad, and that's going to really hurt. They screw Wonder Woman really hurt, but League is the one they need to get right, because if League is like this, where League can't be polarizing, League has to be great, because if League is polarizing, then I believe it's dead. Like, they're done, so it's... I disagree. I think if Squad sucks, nobody's gonna go see Wonder Woman, and if Wonder Woman sucks and nobody goes to see it, I think that's gonna be it. Yeah. I really do. And then it won't matter if Justice League is good. Yeah. Because it's too late. You've hurt the franchise.
Well, it's still gonna come out universe. Though. They're filming.
No, that's true. And then
I think Wonder Woman has a bit more leeway because they had the female angle though of being the first female superhero led though.
No, and I think that's true. I think it's gonna.
And it should appeal more to kids. Where Squad, like, I know it's PG-13, but I don't know how many kids are gonna see that movie. But
it's PG-13, but it doesn't look like a PG-13 movie. No, it looks
R. But that'll be. I don't know.
I don't think if I had a kid that was under 13, would I take him to go see that movie?
No, I wouldn't. But yeah, if you watch this cut, let us know what you thought. Like, let us know what scenes worked for you in this. Let us know what scenes didn't work for you. You can follow us on Twitter, SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, Facebook. Yep, that was the last one.
Yes,
we're so many places. We're everywhere but the phone book, ladies and gentlemen. It's so hard to keep track. But yeah, thank you for listening. Our next episode soon. We got another superhero news coming. Roundup. There's lots of stuff to come back or talk about. We're gonna make some Comic-Con predictions. That's in a month, so that'll be fun. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, and I promise the next time you hear from us, it'll not be boring. Martha. Granny's peach tea.